Hi everyone, thank you for joining. We've hit 1 p.m, so we'll make a start. Great to see so many of you are here today. Massively appreciate you joining today's session. We're hoping it's going to be really informative. We'll be talking about our degree level programs, and we'll cover how apprenticeships can be a great way to start your career, how they can support you in changing your career direction, and be a great way to return to work to try something different. So my name is Joe Lakin. I'll be your host for today's webinar. We've also got some Amazonians on the call who we'll introduce you to very shortly. We're aiming for this to be an interactive session, and we will be asking you to submit some questions as we go along in the chat. So please do familiarize yourselves with where this is if you haven't already. Here at Amazon, there's no such thing as an unimportant question. So please feel free to share any thoughts that you have, any topics that you want to know more on, or any questions for any of the particular panel members. That would be brilliant. There will be an opportunity for a Q&A at the end. So please do make a note of your questions as we progress through. Feel free to drop them in the chat as they come to you, or wait until the end and pop them in. If you can also make sure if it's aimed towards a specific person, please do note that person down as well. So I'm going to hand you across to Shri, who can hopefully introduce herself. Shri, I think you're on mute there.
Thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone. I'm Shri. I'm a senior program manager at Amazon. I look after the apprenticeships and apprentices once they start on the scheme until they graduate from their apprenticeship. I also work with the line managers and other stakeholders to ensure that the apprentices get the best and positive experience on their apprenticeship. I also, in addition, work with the training providers for each of the schemes that I look after. Currently, I look after all the non-tech apprenticeship schemes. Before that, I was also looking after the technical apprenticeship schemes. So that's me. We also have a panel of apprentices who are here to answer your questions as well. And I would like you to come on camera and just introduce briefly to the panel. Yeah. So, Harry.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Harry. I'm on the Finance Apprenticeship Scheme. I'm just over 4 months into the role. I'm on my first rotation, so I'm in the Prime Video Accounting team. Before Amazon, I was an intern at a much smaller tech company, and it was from that I knew the corporate life appealed to me.
Brilliant, thank you. Mark?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark, and I'm from Amazon Logistics, and I'm a Chartered Management Degree Apprentice. So unlike Joe, but I was from a different background of Steve. And a couple of things that appealed for me for why I wanted to get involved with the program was the level of exposure I get. So as part of the Chartered Management Degree Apprenticeship, you get to experience the operation on a 24-hour period, as well as also the exposure you get in terms of the secondments. So my second and third year, I'll have the opportunity to go on to do secondments in multiple functions of the business, as well as the exposure I get in terms of visiting other sites. So for example, last week I got to visit the lead site for automation in Europe, which is based in Dunstable. And then later today I'm off to DIG, which is in Enfield, which is the largest site in the world, which have recently launched their micro-mobility program, where essentially they're delivering parcels by bike. So lots of cool things in that space.
Brilliant, thank you, Mark. Ollie?
Hi, my name is Ollie. I am a degree software development engineer apprentice. I work in Alexa, mainly in the shopping department, working to put Alexa on the Amazon app, which you might have noticed has come in this year. That was one of the projects I've been working on. Been at Amazon just over 3 years now. I'm on the last year of my degree program. Kind of came into engineering through high school and college, studied A-level computer science. Really loved it, but wanted to kind of get out of the full-time education system and get into work. Really enjoyed more practical learning, that side of things. That's why I kind of picked up this degree apprenticeship, as I knew it would get me straight in and working on live projects, and I've had a lot of opportunities to do that to date.
Brilliant. Thank you all. We will talk to you again on the panel. So that's all from me for now. Joe, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so please do get your questions in. If you've got any questions for those that you've just met, we'll have some time towards the end. So if you've got any questions about what the scheme's like, please do get them in the chat as we go through. But moving on to today's agenda. So we've got a lot of great information for you today. We hope to run you through some program-specific questions, as well as outlining why Amazon's a great place to be an apprentice. But particularly at today's agenda, we'll start with a little bit about Amazon. We'll give you some information around kind of why choose an apprenticeship at degree level. We'll give you some information around the Amazon leadership principles, which you may have heard of already. We'll tell you a little bit about the programs that we're offering as part of the 2023 cycle as well as some information into how we hire into the programs as well. So a little bit around our recruitment process. And finally, as mentioned, we'll have the Q&A session where you'll get to hear from some of the apprentices and Shri. So like I say, if you do have any questions as you go through, please do drop them in the chat. But before we get into it, I just wanted to give you a quick question. So the question on screen here, you can see, is what do you think of when you think about Amazon? Feel free to put your thoughts into the chat box if you'd like, or just keep them to yourself. But either way, have a little think, kind of what comes to mind when you first think of Amazon. I'll give you a little bit of a second just to see if there's anything coming through on the chat before we move on. Innovation, yeah. They do everything we do indeed. Cloud services, good quality products, yeah. E-commerce, diversity, growth and opportunity, yeah, all brilliant. So a lot of the time, when we ask this question, a lot of the time, the common conceptions that we get back is, or the first thing that comes to mind really is kind of those Amazon brown boxes that come to your door, or maybe you've seen the Amazon vans around where you live, or the huge buildings as well that you might see across the country. So these are our operation centers and delivery stations. So these are all hugely important components of Amazon, but I also want to focus and highlight just some of the other things as well that you might be using in your day-to-day life already, but maybe don't come to mind kind of when you think about Amazon or ask that question. So as well as these things that you can see on screen, we've also got a wealth of other businesses that make up Amazon as well, some of which you can see on screen here. I'm hoping some of you may already be familiar with a few of these, or maybe even use these in your daily life through the likes of Amazon Music and Prime Video for your entertainment. You or your family might have an Alexa device or a Ring doorbell, again, which all sit underneath Amazon. And another favorite as well, when we've done similar sessions, it always seems to be quite popular, is Twitch, which you can see on screen. And again, that makes up part of Amazon. So the idea here is just to highlight the real breadth and products and services that we provide here at Amazon, and some of these which you may not have originally thought of when asked that question. So obviously within all these businesses that we've just gone through, it comes a great opportunity for Amazon for invention and innovation. So on screen, you'll be able to see just some of the amazing products and services that Amazon has innovated over the recent years through drone development, in-house entertainment, grocery delivery, cloud computing, and much more. So I'm going to play a very quick video now just to give you a little bit more of a flavor of the things that we've done in the past, what we're doing currently, and what we have coming up in the future. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a flavour of the things that are happening behind the screens. Just going to start the presentation back up. There we go. Amazing. So I'll pass you back to Shri, and hoping you can run through a little bit around kind of the apprenticeship program, Shri.
Yeah. So basically, what is an apprenticeship? The whole definition can be seen on the screen, but essentially, it is an opportunity to do a qualification or get a degree while you are doing a job. So earn as you learn. There are some levels of apprenticeships that one should know about before making a decision to apply for a specific one. So the level 2 is a GCSE equivalent intermediate apprenticeship. Advanced apprenticeship is level 3, which is kind of sort of A level equivalent. And the higher apprenticeships are level 4 and level 5, which are foundation degree or above. And the degree apprenticeships are called level 6 and 7. So the level 6 apprenticeship is bachelor's degree equivalent, and the level 7 is master's level equivalent. So those are the apprenticeships that we offer. We are going to talk more about the degree apprenticeships, so the level 6 and the level 7 in this presentation, but we have other webinars if you wanted to know more about any other levels. Okay, so now that we know what the apprenticeships are and what does an apprenticeship mean, we go to knowing more about what kind of apprenticeships we are offering. So for 2023, we will be hiring apprentices into the following categories. As you can see on the screen, the digital and the creative apprenticeships, sales and marketing, operational apprenticeships, which are mainly in our logistics areas, engineering apprenticeships, apprenticeships in technology, and also in the business area. So those are the apprenticeships we are going to offer. We will talk about some of the specific degree apprenticeships that fall in these categories later on in this webinar. Essentially, if you have the relevant eligibility criteria, which we will talk about in a minute as well, and the ambition, attitude, and the aptitudes we need, there will be a program for everyone that you might be interested in for applying. So we will talk about them more in further slides. So over to you, Joe.
Thank you very much. So just to highlight a little bit of where we've come from. So obviously we've got programs within all of those areas that Shri's covered there. And we've come a long way since we started offering apprenticeships. So this year in 2023, we will be celebrating our 10 years anniversary. So our first ever set of apprentices were back in 2013. We started off with 3 RME apprentices. We now have 2,683 apprentices within the UK across our different apprenticeship programs. For this year, we're looking to be a key sponsor for the National Apprenticeship Week in partnership with the Department for Education. Obviously, as part of this, so that we are running a webinar series, which you're on one of our webinar calls as we speak. Shri did mention, so we have got other webinars as well. So if there is other particular ones that you'd be interested in, please do have a look through the different events that we'll be running from yesterday all the way up until the 26th of Jan. On top of this as well, as part of National Apprenticeship Week, we will be running some in-person events from the 6th to the 10th of February. These are at multiple locations across the UK, so if you are interested in coming and seeing us, please do have a look through. I will put in the chat now as well a link so you can have a look through and see if there's any near your location. All of this can be found on our website as well, so if you Google Amazon Apprenticeships, it will come up, so you'll get some more information around that too. As part of that, on our website as well, we will have a link to this later on. But if you do find that, you can also look to join our mailing list, which is listed on our website. So if you do want to be kind of kept up to date when our apprenticeships open, any kind of future events like this as well, please do sign up for that as well. So I believe I'm passing back to yourself, Shri, for our apprentice vision.
Yes, so as you can see on the screen, investing in apprenticeships is one of our main vision. There are no limits to our creativity, growth, and potential. So that is kind of our clear vision for apprenticeships. When we deliver the apprenticeships, we work with leading training providers and offer the mentoring from specialists in technical areas, specialists in educational coaching. So there is a provision for coaching as well, and holistic program management support from our specialist team. So we invest a lot in supporting you from all areas and ensuring that you get a best possible experience on your apprenticeships while you are still doing the apprenticeship with us. So that's kind of our vision for the apprenticeships. Over to you, Joe.
Thank you very much. So before we move into kind of the specific degree apprenticeship programs and give you a little bit more information on that, I just wanted to cover a little bit around our Amazon leadership principles, which we referred to earlier in this call. Some of you might have heard of the leadership principles before. If you haven't, please do, and you are looking to apply for our roles, I definitely recommend you do check these out before it comes to that. So they're a lot of the time ingrained in our recruitment process. So having kind of an idea of what our leadership principles are ahead of time will be really useful when it comes to that. So to enable Amazon to grow at the pace that it does, there are two things which are extremely important here, being culture and innovation. Part of the secret sauce, although it's not hugely secret, as you can find out about the principles online, but it is our leadership principles, which guide kind of how we hire people and how we evaluate success. We hold ourselves and each other accountable for demonstrating these leadership principles through our actions every day. Our leadership principles also describe how Amazon does business, how leaders lead, and how we keep the customer at the center of our decisions. So a unique Amazon culture, described by our leadership principles, helps us relentlessly pursue our mission of being Earth's most customer-centric company, best employer, and safest place to work. So I won't run you through all of them, but on the screen you can hopefully see our 16 leadership principles here. As mentioned, do have a look through these kind of after this call. There's plenty of material online and on our website as well. But I will pick out a few that are especially important to all of our apprentices. Whilst we do run through these, do have a look through any that stand out to you or really resonate to you. Have a think about kind of the ones that you show in your day-to-day lives as well, as that would be really useful when it comes to applying as well. But starting in the top left, so with customer obsession, this is the idea that we always look to start with the customer and work backwards. We work vigorously to earn and keep customer trust. So no matter what your role is or kind of what level you join Amazon at, knowing who your customer is and how you can best serve your customer is absolutely critical. Another important one when it comes to apprentices is the idea around ownership. So for apprentices, you'll be given the support to develop and progress, but that willingness to take ownership of your tasks and your learning as well ultimately falls to you. So again, a key component for success on an apprenticeship program. Learn and be curious. Arguably one of the more important LPs for the apprentices is the idea of learn and be curious. So when you join Amazon as an apprentice, you're not going to be expected straight away to know how to do everything, but instead we do expect that you have that drive to learn, be curious about finding out why things are done in a particular way, and then using that curiosity to find ways to improve current processes too. And the last one that I'll pick out is earn trust as well. So it's the idea around listening, being open and respectful. We appreciate not everyone's perfect, but kind of when innovating, trust is absolutely key to building that collaborative approach. So just around customer obsession. So we spoke about this as being one of our leadership principles. It was also one of the founding principles at Amazon that is still as important today as it was when Amazon was created back in the mid-90s. There are many advantages to a customer-centric approach, but Jeff Bezos quotes that customers are always beautifully, wonderfully dissatisfied, even when they report being happy and business is great. Even when they don't know it, customers want something better, and your desire to delight customers will drive you to invent on their behalf. No customer ever asked Amazon to create the Prime membership program, but it sure turns out that they wanted it. So this idea of customer obsession is incredibly important for not just apprentices, but kind of the whole of Amazon as well. And every kind of decision that we make, every new product or new service that we introduce is always done so with the customer in mind. And finally, before we go on to the program specifics, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information around the support available, both to yourselves as you kind of go through the application process, but also to employees kind of once you're part of Amazon as well through our affinity groups. So here at Amazon, we celebrate you being you. As a diverse business, not only do we create career journeys, we also want to attract apprentices that reflect our customers and our diversity of thought. The breadth of Amazon's affinity groups demonstrates that whilst every employee is unique, there are ties that pull us all together. So as part of these affinity groups, you can be a quiet or active participant and utilize them to connect with others who have shared experiences and interests as well. On top of that, so the selection and recruitment process, as mentioned, we designed it to be considered, consistent and open to all who've passed that qualifying criteria, which we will run through. We also do have, I can share a link later on throughout the slides as well, to a dedicated team who's there to support you throughout the recruitment process too. So as mentioned, we recognize all Amazonians are unique. Our uniqueness is bound by similarities, and we have numerous networks both locally and globally that you can access. We call them affinity groups, and globally we have 13 of them. I won't name them all, but just a few examples of our affinity groups include Amazon PWD, or Amazon People with Disabilities. So this group is committed to making Amazon a stronger company by building a community that supports employees and customers who have mental and or physical disabilities. The group that we have is Glamazon, who help Amazon to be a great place to work by educating and informing employees about the LGBTQ+ community. And finally, Mental Health and Wellbeing, which is our newest affinity group. Their mission, is to promote employee wellbeing, to create a safe community where we can come together to reduce the stigma of mental health, raise awareness, create a culture of acceptance, and support one another. So just to recap, really, so regardless of kind of what stage you are, if you're an applicant, we do have that support throughout the recruitment process that you can access. And also, once you've joined Amazon, we've also got these groups and other various areas of support as well to help you through your journey as an apprentice. So I'm going to hand back to Shri now, and we can run through some of the programs in a bit more detail.
Okay, so these are the degree apprenticeship programs that we are delivering in 2023. You can see in the brackets that's the duration of each scheme, and they all are level 6, that is a degree level, the bachelor's degree level, except the finance apprenticeship, which is you are working towards the level 7 apprenticeship. So you do a CIMA qualification, which is equivalent to level 7. So the schemes are in short: IT engineer, chartered management degree apprenticeship, automation engineering and maintenance engineering, finance, project manager, data analyst, sales apprenticeship, which is a business to business sales degree, software development engineer apprenticeship, and the cybersecurity apprenticeship. So the eligibility for each of them is slightly different, which you will see on the next screen. So the prerequisites column shows you the eligibility criteria. Each of these are mandatory, so you need to have met these criteria qualifications wise. And there are a few more other eligibility criteria, which is the right to work in the country, and you should have lived in the country for consecutive 3 years prior to applying. The minimum age for these apprenticeships is 18 for Amazon, and there is no maximum age. So if you fulfill these criteria, and please feel free to then apply. More information can be found on our website, which is given on the slide here as well. So these are the other schemes as well, which were not listed on the previous slide. So you can see each of our apprenticeships need the GCSE or the equivalent in maths and English, grade C or above, and you need A levels as well. Some of these need 2 A levels, some of these need 3 A levels. For our finance apprenticeship, you need specific grades as well in your A levels. So please look at the criteria on our website and make an informed decision on what you want to apply for, where your interests are. So going on next on to what we are looking for in the candidate. The first thing, as I mentioned on the previous slide, is the eligibility criteria. So you need to have met all the eligibility criteria. The other things that we are looking for is, as you can see on the screen, aptitude, attitude, and the ambition. You should have that, and we see this in the assessment center and in the interview processes. So what are you doing here? Working towards a qualification. We want people who have a passion for learning new skills. 20% of your time will be spent in learning and 80% will be spent on doing the job. For people who learn by doing, the apprenticeships are the great option if you want. However, what you need to remember is that apprenticeship programs are not easy and that are not for everyone. It's hard to balance the need of your job and the studies. You need to be prepared to work hard and have a huge desire to succeed. So time management and organization, prioritization skills, these are very important. Especially for career changes. If you have had a long gap in since you last did your education, going back to the studies and getting back into the flow of doing the assignments, etc., can sometimes be a little daunting. So you need to have to plan and manage it really well. Generally, the people who fail the apprenticeships are those that don't put the efforts in. It's not down to the ability of people, but it is down to the attitude, and that's why we really need the people with right attitude towards completing the apprenticeship. So Amazon is going to pay you to have the qualification, so you don't have to pay anything to do the qualification. You are going to work with Amazon for the duration of the apprenticeship. For the degree apprenticeships, it's going to be between 3 and 4 years. So you are going to get that kind of work experience on your CV as well. And not to forget that you are going to get paid each month for doing your apprenticeship. So there is nothing to lose actually. If you want to consider apprenticeships, you just keep gaining one thing or another. So our aim is that everyone who completes an apprenticeship program is to stay in Amazon. So we will try and support every apprentice to stay within Amazon where possible. Which will be great for a right candidate. So Amazon is proud to place diversity at the heart of all we do. We welcome the print applications from everyone, regardless of the gender, race, age, physicality, sexual orientation. All you need to do is the commitment, the drive, and the passion to seize the opportunities that will come your way. So go to our website, look at all the information carefully. There are a lot of things on the website which will help you with your application process as well. And hopefully we'll see a lot of applications from this group. So that's all from me for now. Over to you, Joe.
Thanks very much, Shri. So to give you a little bit of an idea of the different application process and assessment process that we have planned for 2023, I will flag so that this can vary a little bit per program. So please do take a look at the website for further information on the program that you're specifically applying for. But in general, you can expect to kind of go through the process that you can see on screen here. So you usually tend to start out with applying online. So that'll involve kind of sharing your CV. You'll answer a few eligibility questions as well as completing a short assessment too. Off the back of that, if you do move forward to the next stage, then that'll be where our online evaluations take place. So this can take the components of this section can be around video questions. Here we're looking for you to tell us about your kind of motivations and any transferable skills as well that you have that would be useful for the role. That usually takes place through an external platform called HireView. The video interviews are not kind of live, so you wouldn't have to kind of come on at a specific time. If you were invited to that, you can kind of record yourself answering the questions as you wish within the deadline and kind of submit that to us. For our more technical schemes as well, so the likes of software development and a few other programs, at this stage you may also be asked to do a short coding test or other technical test as well. This isn't you wouldn't necessarily be kind of you wouldn't be removed from the process because of this. It's more just to get an idea of kind of where you're at and where your technical ability stands at this point. And then finally, the final stage in our recruitment process will be the virtual assessment center. So assessment centers, again, can vary a little bit per program, but they tend to include the likes of a group exercise where you work with other candidates on a particular task. It might include a presentation or a task or a case study that's specific to that particular role that you're applying for, and also some individual interviews as well with members of the hiring teams that are hiring for the program that you've applied for. What I would say is, well, first thing, like I say, do take a look at the website for kind of more specific information around the application process for the particular schemes that you're interested in. But as you're going through the process as well, do remember that this is a two-way process. Obviously, we're looking to understand if you're kind of right for the program from our perspective, if you've got that ambition, the attitude, and the aptitude, as Shri spoke through before. But also do remember kind of to ask the questions, kind of get involved with these different processes. We will give you the opportunity to really understand throughout the process, to find out a little bit more about Amazon, find out more about the teams that are on offer and more about the program. So do make sure you're asking questions and make sure that it's kind of the right opportunity for you and kind of where you see yourself moving forward. Off the back of that as well, so obviously the virtual assessment center is the final stage, and we are looking to kind of get that turned around as quick as possible. So kind of once you've completed that stage, you can hope to hear from us as soon as possible. So moving on to the final slide, before we move into a little bit of a Q&A with the panel. This slide's got some really useful information on our upcoming apprenticeship program. So we'll leave this slide on screen for a little bit of time. You can use the QR code on the right-hand side or the URL, which you can see there, which is amazonapprenticeships.co.uk. That'll access our website. Here you can find a lot more information around the particular programs that we've got, some tips for applying, and some further information around any support that you might need as well. We hope by now that you're not thinking kind of, should I join Amazon? But your question is more around what scheme is right for me and where and how do I apply? So you can find that information all online, but now is the perfect time, which is why we're hosting these webinars at the moment. It's a great time to speak to you as all of our vacancies are live from the 6th of February. So just in a few weeks time, sorry. So in the meantime, I would absolutely encourage you to spend that time now having a look through the website, all the information that's available on there, really understanding kind of what Amazon's like to work for and more about that particular program that you're interested in. We do also have a mailbox, which you can see at the bottom for additional questions. What I would flag, though, is do have a look through the website before. A lot of the general questions that you might have or scheme-specific questions that you have will be answered on the website. So please do have a read through, but the team is there should you need any support. Above that, we've also got a specialist team which supports applications as we go through. That's called the ACAT team, so the Applicant Candidate Accommodations team. Again, details of this can be found on the website, but if you are going through the recruitment process, you need a little bit of extra support, please do get in touch and we can discuss how we can help you through that. So like I say, please do take a look through the program. The website, will have information on all the different programs that we offer. I'd take some time to really kind of drill down on the ones that you're interested in, and also to have a think kind of in the meantime how you might look to stand out in your applications as well. So we do get our apprenticeship programs are quite popular, so we do get a lot of people apply for these. So in the meantime, just make sure you're using the time that you have available before the applications open to really kind of drill down on what interests you and make sure Amazon's right for you, what programs are best suited to your transferable skills, and ensure kind of that's referred to as much as you can throughout the recruitment process. If you are looking to apply, like I say beforehand, on the website we do have information kind of what's coming up, but there's also a link to our mailing list as well. So if you do want to sign up to that, we can keep you informed on the upcoming events that we have that are similar to this, as well as information on when our program goes live too. So I'm just going to ask the panel to come back on as we move forward. I know we've got a few questions through. We do have quite a bit of time on this, so I was just hoping before we move into some of the questions that you've asked, Harry, Mark, Ollie, it'd be great to just get a little bit of a kind of what's a day-to-day or an average day look like for you on your particular program. If you start with yourself, Harry.
Sure. So it's hard to say. Every day is definitely different. And I think what's quite nice about the scheme, the finance one in particular, is that we do get to get involved in a whole variety of tasks. On the finance scheme, we do 3 different one-year rotations. So you'll get to see different parts of Amazon. But at the moment, as I mentioned, I'm in Prime Video Accounting. So a lot of my work at the moment is focused around the automation using specialist software of our month-end processes, as well as completing month-end close, deep diving into our numbers, figuring out why numbers might have decreased or increased, and having that information onto our business partners, reviewing contracts for new content, going on to Amazon Prime, making sure they conform with accounting standards, and so on. So no day is the same, and we get to see a wide variety of finance.
Brilliant, thank you. If we go to yourself, Mark. I think you're on mute there, Mark.
Hi, sorry guys. Hi. So I'm in my first year, and so I'm currently experiencing the operation as a whole. So I'm rotating through all the shift patterns at an Amazon logistics site, and we're currently ramping down post-peak, so post-Christmas. So it's a lot going on in terms of that.
Yeah, thank you. And last but not least, Ollie.
Yes. So my day in the life is quite interesting. So we at Amazon Software Engineering, we operate in what's called an agile methodology. So for those of you who might have maybe studied a bit of computer science at GCSE or A level, you might understand what that means. But that effectively means we start with a bunch of ritual meetings. So in the morning, I start with what's called a stand-up meeting, where I'll talk with a lot of the rest of my team about what I completed yesterday, what I'm planning to do today, and we talk about any other blockages to our work pipelines, just to make sure everybody's got a clear path through to complete what they want to achieve that day. Usually then check some emails, make sure I'm up to date with all my messages, and start coding. So we have some tasks on the board. I'll pick whatever's been assigned to me, or whatever I picked up. It depends on the project I'm working on at that point in time. I'll get working on that. I will often reach out and talk to the rest of my team as I need help, or if they need help, or anything else that is going on throughout the day, if we have to react to any issues we found. And then towards the end of the day, hopefully I've completed whatever I've set out to do that day, and then I get it reviewed by somebody else, and then we all review each other's work, make sure that the code we're putting through is pretty accurate, and then that gets submitted through, and we kind of do it all again the next day. But on a kind of it pans out over a week span, so we might have a couple of other meetings to review our overall velocity, make sure we're meeting our team's objectives, and obviously the education side of the apprenticeship as well, which for me is looking at 1 day a week at the moment, where I'm attending classes or doing homework.
Amazing, thank you. They all sound very varied, so it's great to kind of hear. And I like your point, Harry, on kind of it's a difficult question, I appreciate. So no day's the same. I think it's the same across a lot of the different apprenticeship programs as well. But thank you for taking us through. So we've got a few questions. We've got quite a lot of questions come through, actually. So we'll just start going through a few of these. Shri, if we could start with yourself. So there's a question here on what can my future look like after the apprenticeship?
So it's a very difficult and easy question at the same time. So regardless what apprenticeship you are doing, let's talk about the degree apprenticeship, because we are on the degree related webinar. So you will be working with Amazon for 3 to 4 years. So the first thing you will get at the graduation is the 3 to 4 years work experience with a company like Amazon on your CV. you will be completing the apprenticeship successfully. So you will have the qualification and the degree on your CV. You have had the salary for all those years as well. So no debt in doing the qualification. So you already will have that, and then we will try and support to get you into a permanent full-time role within Amazon in one of our teams where possible. So you have the chance of going on to the next level and permanent job within Amazon after your apprenticeship. If that doesn't happen for whatever reason, you will be better placed to get a decent job anywhere in the industry. So that's what it looks like for you after your apprenticeship.
Amazing. Thank you, Shri. We've had one just come through from Jasper for Mark specifically. So Mark, what have been the most challenging tasks you've taken on since you've started the program?
So for myself, it would probably be my portfolio. So as part of my apprenticeship program, we sit a level 6 panel for the Chartered Management Institute. So working towards my portfolio for that. So we have a criteria of what you call TLAPSs, teacher learning and assessment plans, which consists of 30 different points. For example, this could be anything from managing conflict in the workplace to outreach projects and advertising. But I must say, my workplace mentor, so as part of the program, you have a workplace mentor, which is typically your line manager, but it doesn't have to be, as well as an academic mentor. So I study with the University of Exeter. So my academic mentor both of them will be there to support me and put me in the perfect situation for maybe projects I could do to support this or situations in the workplace.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So we have a few questions that I can see in the chat as well around kind of what coding language is the coding test in. So the way that the system works, it will present you with kind of a challenge or a task, and the coding language is essentially down to you. You complete it in kind of whatever coding language you choose, and then the system will kind of utilize that. So kind of open to yourself. It'll just be a kind of simple task for you to complete, and you can kind of choose how you do that. There's a good general one, so I think this could apply for everyone. So if we kind of ran through, that'd be really useful. But kind of what made you join? So forgetting kind of the apprenticeship program, but what made you join Amazon specifically?
Sure. So I personally, on the internship I was previously on at a different company, had worked with Amazon as a customer. So I saw what the culture was like from an external perspective. I could see the kind of approach that people take at Amazon to everything. Everything's very data driven and everything revolves around those 16 LPs that Joe went through. So I knew from there that it was certainly somewhere you want to be. It's very innovative, as all of you were saying in the chat at the start. It's the forefront of innovation at the moment. So it definitely appealed to that.
Amazing. Thank you, Harry. Anyone else got anything to add to that question?
Yes, I do. So from a first personal perspective for myself, as I'm sure you're aware, Joe showed at the beginning a slide which showed all the different companies and subsectors of Amazon. So this was something that really interested me. So at the time when I was applying for Amazon, I believed it had 41 different subsectors and businesses as part of the organization, which is growing in the space now. And then also from an operational perspective for myself, I'm sure you're aware, Amazon run one of the leanest operations in the world. So to learn from this at such a young age, like for myself being 18, it's like a priceless experience.
Amazing, thank you. Ollie, anything to add from your side?
Yeah, I would say from a tech perspective, for those of you looking at one of our tech programs like the cybersecurity, software engineering, data analyst, you're not going to find a company that has more resources available for you to learn from. AWS is one of our major businesses. It's the biggest cloud platform in the world. And as an engineer, no matter if you're on any of those three programs, you have access to that at your full disposal to learn from, to experiment with, to build with as well. So all of that, including pretty much unlimited trading on that as well, is all at your fingertips. And that just gives you completely invaluable experience.
Amazing, thank you. And Shri, it might be quite a good perspective. So obviously you've joined Amazon not as an apprentice, but kind of what was your driver to join Amazon?
As everyone said, first of all, it's a big company, huge company. So you get exposed to a lot of different teams, projects, people, stakeholders. So it is a really great experience to grow personally and professionally. So that was my biggest drive to work with Amazon.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. Shri, I'm going to stick with yourself if that's okay, or I'm happy to jump on this as well. But we have someone who has asked, I'm a career breaker of 2 years. Can I apply?
Yes, they can apply if they meet the eligibility criteria for the scheme that they want to apply. For everyone, I would like to say that there is a quiz on our website. Please take a look at that and do this quiz. It will help you to decide which apprenticeship is better for you depending on the answers you have given to these questions. It will be great, Joe, to share the link again in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
no
you.
worries. Okay, so having a look through what questions come up next. So that's an interesting one. So for any of the apprentices, does it take a lot of time out of social life?
Apprentices, you can answer that question.
I'm happy to jump in on this one. So as part of your apprenticeship program, as Shri mentioned, you have 20% time off task. So this is essentially 20%, which is based towards your studies and any apprenticeship extracurricular activities. So I'm sure the other apprentices can vouch for this, but a big part of getting used to like a life as an apprentice working at Amazon is getting used to strictly taking that 20% time off task. And it's just taken me now a couple of months to develop taking this 20% time off task every week, and then it doesn't impact, I would say, your work-life balance. But it's really crucial to do this because especially around assessment time, for myself, just before Christmas when I had multiple assignments due, and also Christmas being Amazon's one of the busiest times of the year, it's essential you take this time off task. And also my workplace mentor and line manager are really supportive of this. So this is like a priority to them. So I found this really helpful.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Obviously, I can't speak for every team, but everyone that I've interacted with so far is very passionate about making sure that you have your downtime, you have a good work-life balance. Obviously, in accounting and finance, month end always brings a peak, but that's always given back to you, and it's always made sure that you're looked after.
Yeah, echoing both of those, it doesn't dig in too much. I think Shri was saying this earlier, is like the most important thing is, are you able to manage your time? Is your time management skills really, really good? And that will determine, how well you handle it. It's not just on the job time, off the job time, also just work time in general. Just making sure that you are able to still give time to yourself, to do all the things you love to do. And if you manage that well, then you'll absolutely love it, and you're going to meet new friends when you join as well on your programs, and make new connections in your teams. So I would say actually, social life has gotten better for me since I've joined as well, as I've been able to take control over my work-life balance and meet new people as well.
I would jump in on this as well. With what Ollie was saying, is like as part of the apprenticeship program, like for myself, for example, a couple of weeks ago we were in Exeter for a week with all the other apprentices. So this brings lots of opportunity for like activities to the evening and socials that we can organise ourselves, as well as we also have the apprenticeship gather community. So this is a community of over 500 apprentices at Amazon, where they meet up and have weekly like sessions on leadership principles and also potential socials, which run like quarterly.
Amazing. Great to hear. We've got one specifically. Oh, go on, sorry.
Joe, sorry. There are a lot of questions about two particular things, really. So I wanted to jump in if that's okay.
Yeah. Please.
So there are several questions which people are asking. Does Amazon offer any support with relocation for apprenticeship roles? The answer is no. We do not offer any relocation support. However, we have had several of our apprentices who have relocated to be closer to the group. And the other question is, I have qualifications from abroad. Am I eligible? So a short answer is yes, you are still eligible if you meet the eligibility criteria. If you want to see what your qualifications from abroad look like compared to qualifications here, please look for UK NARIC on Google, and you can get the comparability certificate for your qualifications abroad. onto that, and that will help you to decide whether you meet all the eligibility criteria, including the qualifications. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shri. Ollie, we've got one particularly for you on the software development engineer program. So what coding languages or tech stacks are good to know or learn for both the application and kind of your working life?
Yeah, so there's lots of languages, obviously, as anyone in tech will know. At Amazon, a lot of our stuff is built in Java. That's quite a common thing we do across Amazon. However, that isn't everything. As an engineer, you will probably, once you're in the program and you're learning, you'll probably learn 6 or 7 languages and be able to switch fluently between them. And though that probably sounds scary to everyone right now, but trust me, it's not that bad once you get going. So before you come into the program, I would definitely just make sure you know the basics in at least one core language, like Java or Python or Go. Like, it's up to you what you want to learn. You pick something that interests you. But just learn one language. Doesn't have to be in a crazy amount of detail, just enough that you could build some like a very basic decision-making application, something like that, so that you're able to demonstrate that you have these kinds of knowledges and this commitment to technology. But also, yeah, from actually an internal perspective, we use a lot of Java, there's a lot of TypeScript as well, and a little bit of Python that's kind of sprinkled here and there. We've got some internal things as well, internal languages and frameworks that get used. So I think the biggest core is one core language, but also be able to show that you're able to pick up languages quickly, new languages very fast, because you'll need to do that.
Amazing. Thank you very much. One that keeps coming back up, Shri, is kind of what universities or training providers will be working with. Obviously, that varies per role, but have you got anything to add to that?
We do look carefully what universities and training providers we are working with for each of our schemes. So all of them are rated good on Ofsted and have a good record of training, delivery, and apprenticeships. So different providers for different schemes. That's all I can say for now.
Amazing. No worries. Thank you very much. Moving across all 3 apprentices, if we could, it's a really good question on kind of, so being an apprentice, how much responsibility are you given within your role and your team?
I dropped an answer to this in the chat, but I'll say the same point so everyone hears. Apprenticeship is one of the leadership principles, as Joe mentioned, and that certainly rings true from the very beginning. From just a couple of months in, I had the opportunity to own projects, and that doesn't mean you're left alone to deal with it yourself. If any problems come up, you have the guidance and support from managers, but you're allowed to lead and you're allowed to take control of those situations.
Amazing. Thank you, Harry. Any other thoughts from yourselves, Mark, Ollie?
Yeah, so for myself, there's quite a few points on this. So for this morning, for example, I was leading a regional call for my site with 23 other sites on after just being there 3 months. So it really gives an example of the kind of responsibility you get given just from the get-go. And as well, within my second week of Amazon, I was given a project to run where I was reporting to my site leaders and sending weekly updates. And I'm still doing this now. So I have multiple projects, which I'm sitting down with my line manager and workplace mentor and reporting on weekly. So just from being with Amazon 3 months, I'm already getting these responsibilities.
Great.
Yeah, very similar in my position. When you first start, you're going to be just be eased into it, nice and gently, and you start to learn all these things. And then once you've got a little bit of knowledge, maybe a month or so into the program, then you start to get given, work and projects. And now I'm at a point right now, I'm leading projects. I'm working with other engineers on projects. I'm leading designs and initiatives that affect multiple teams at Amazon and in Alexa. So yeah, it kind of progresses as you go. The later you get on the program, more responsibility you get. And in that last bit of the program, you can expect to be treated just like another person doing the full-time job who's not an apprentice.
Great.
I'd echo what Ollie said in there from terms of that perspective. It's also about what you're willing to take ownership of, a key Amazon principle. So what you're willing to take ownership of is what you'll get given responsibilities and doing. So it's kind of about proving yourself. So if you're willing to take ownership of things from the get-go and take responsibilities on things, you're going to be trusted for future projects.
Amazing. Thank you. We are closing up to one, but we've got time for a few more questions. Shri, there's an interesting question here. So obviously, as being a PM for hundreds of apprentices across different programs, is there many older people doing apprenticeships?
That's a good question. We have all sorts of ages on each of our apprenticeship, regardless what level of apprenticeship it is. So the minimum age of our apprentices is 18 years old, and there is no maximum age limit as such. So we have apprentices who are 55 plus, or in some cases 60 plus as well. So yeah, there is a lot of variety in all of our apprenticeships age-wise.
Brilliant, thank you. We've had a few questions here around the virtual assessment centres and when they will take place. I deflect this to have a look through the website. So this will kind of vary through the different programs. I'd also probably suggest to apply for the mailing list just to keep informed of kind of when we get further through the process, so we can give you kind of enough warning of when that will be for the particular programs that you're applying for. So do have a look through. It's also off the back of that, it comes in a response to a question of whether you'll be receiving kind of emails once you've applied. Again, yes, so we'll keep in touch as we go through the recruitment process, but also do have a look at our website and kind of the mailing list as well. You can sign up for that ahead of application, so you can be kept informed of the upcoming things that we have here as well. One that's just come through to myself, other possibilities where the shift will result in late nights. Appreciate this may be different per scheme. Shri, do you have a response there?
Sorry, yes, that is different for different schemes. For corporate schemes, generally the working hours are 8:30 to 5:30. There might be some different timings depending on the projects and the deadlines you are working on. If you are looking at the operations-based schemes, then there are shift patterns. So it can be whatever shift you are on. So overall, our apprentices work 40 hours a week, and for operations, there will be a shift pattern.
Brilliant, thank you. Probably time for just one more question, as we do have just over a minute left. Probably for Shri, but Harry, Mark, Ollie, if you've got any thoughts on this as well, please do chip in. So what makes a good application, or what can really make you stand out, do you think?
So, in my opinion, your CV needs to, or your application needs to show the passion, the attitude, aptitude, and interest in the scheme that you are doing. You are allowed to apply for more than one scheme, but are you really interested in those schemes that you are applying for? So, our recruitment process will want to know your interests and why you are interested in a particular apprenticeship. So, that is a main thing for us. But the apprentices you can answer based on your experiences through the interview process.
Yeah, so I think from my perspective, looking at this and reviewing CVs and things, definitely the best ones are the ones that back up their statements. So if you're going to say I'm interested in technology, how can you prove that to us? So can you say I worked on this project, or I taught myself this programming language, or I attended this particular event that was running because I wanted to learn more about what it took to be a software engineer. All of these things that you can place into your CV just to back up, prove the point that you're trying to say, because anyone can say that they like something, or they enjoy something, or they're passionate. Can you prove it to us with an action? And I think that that's the best thing to put on your CV.
Amazing, thank you so much. That is time. So I really appreciate you all joining today. Shri, Harry, Mark, Ollie as well, thank you so much for your time. It's been really good to speak with you all. I've just put another link to our website in the chat, so please do take a note, please do have a look through. Like I say, we do have the mailbox as well, which I will put a link through in the chat now as well. But do have a look through the website before you do so. Have a look at the FAQs that are on there. But if your question's still answered, please do get in touch. So massive thank you again. I hope it's been good, and have a good rest of your day. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.